Yes, boys and girls, can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Let me get a little 111 in the old chat if you guys can. Let me see. Let's get this going. Hey, what's happening, man? It's Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Bro, I'm excited, man. It's been a while since we've been on the charts. Been a while, since been placed any trades. So yeah, I'm really excited for this, man. So yeah, it has been, bro. I mean, I'm not, well, we'll see if there's gonna be any trade today. Let me start recording. Already are recording. Let's get straight into it. So, what's good, Priyesh? What's good, Sonia? What's good, HP? What's good, Caspar? What's good, Chad Lee? What is good? What is good? What is good? So, yeah, with no further ado, let's just get straight into it. What I wanted to sort of, firstly, let me just move this way. Bit. But yeah, let's sort of get straight into it. So, in terms of economics, obviously, where we've had the whole Christmas period, there wasn't any really new economic data that came out. So we're just sort of rolling off the last inflation reading that we had. And obviously, the last inflation reading we had showed inflation coming out lower, which obviously promoted more of that risk on environment. And of course, since then, we've seen, I mean, Bitcoin start to rally back towards 100K. All right, obviously we're gonna get into this, do the top downs and everything. We've seen ES, we've seen the Dow, we've seen NQ go and create new all-time highs, right? And we've obviously seen metals continue to absolutely rally, man. I mean, silver at fucking $78 is crazy, bro. I remember buying this thing up, where is it, like 14. Yeah, that was an insane that was an insane swing. Now, in terms of, like I've mentioned, where we had the last inflation reading coming out lower, that's still pretty bullish for our risk assets. Now, what obviously where we are now in the new year, right? What I'm still going to be paying attention to is the same sort of things that we've always been paying attention to: inflation, labor markets, and obviously what the Federal Reserve is doing with their monetary policy. Obviously, we know, what do we know? What they have been doing, right? The central bank have been cutting rates, right? We know that inflation is still relatively low and the labor market is pretty weak right now. So, seeing that the labor market's weak, we know that's sort of forcing the Fed to cut rates a little bit more aggressively. And of course, now even seeing that inflation's lower, right, it's just even more reason for them to continue cutting rates. Now, obviously, coming into the end of last year, we did start talking about potentially the end of a bull market if the data permits. And again, I'm still sticking with the same narrative. If we keep seeing inflation come out higher, then we can potentially change our tone. But again, we have to see the data and we have to let the data actually show us that rather than just like guess. You don't want to guess. You don't want to assume what's going to happen with the data. You always just want to react. Because again, if you start predicting, that's when you turn to a gambler. Because like, let's be honest here, it's not your job to know the future. It's your job to look at the past, look at history, and then create if-then scenarios around the current markets and what could potentially happen. And obviously, if something happens, then you can obviously act accordingly. So, based on the data that's coming out this week, right? Yeah, exactly, bro. Like it's really not your job to predict. Like for me, when I was a very new trader, like I would always try and predict the market. I'd always try and predict news releases. I was always try and predict a trade, and that would just create so much more emotional problems because if when you're predicting and you're wrong, it doesn't feel good. Versus when we have a curious and open mindset, like, okay, if this happens, then I'll do that. You're putting your control back on yourself rather than on external things. Because ultimately, can we control the market? No. All right. I mean, maybe one day, give us a few years, right? We'll get there. But we can't control the market. We can only control ourselves. So for me, that's why I'm not trying to get so uptight if a trade wins or a news release happens because it has no reflection of my skill or my self-worth. If I lose a trade, if I win a trade, it means nothing to me. And that's the same thing to you. You should be completely indifferent to winners, losers, losses, and market biases. It's just about, again, reading the data, stop reading the tape, and creating those scenarios accordingly. So in terms of what we have coming out this week, again, this is my first proper time on the charts as well. So we'll do some fresh top downs. We'll look at everything from a fresh perspective. Obviously, we've got some more labor market data coming out this week. I don't think this is going to be necessarily directional setting. Obviously, if we keep seeing the labor market weaken, right, it's probably just going to accelerate that, that narrative of Fed rate cuts. Unemployment claims, I mean, that comes out every week. But we do have NFP. I do think NFP is going to be a big mover in the markets. But again, I'm not really like trying to use this for direction. I think we're pretty much set on this bullish narrative now until we go into next week. That's when obviously we've got actual inflation data coming out, and it's going to be a big week next week, right? We got CPI coming out, and we got PPI coming out like Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So that's going to be absolutely fireworks. Obviously, for now, I'm still going to be bullish on my risk assets, still going to be bearish on the dollar. But basically, if this now next week comes out, let's say we start seeing inflation edge higher. Now, I mean, it could take a few more months for inflation to edge higher if it does. Again, we know that starting in January, well, we're in January now, but we know now what's starting to happen with Trump's tariffs. Trump's tariffs are now being unpaused. So if Trump's tariffs are now being unpaused, right, what could that potentially mean for inflation if Trump's tariffs are being unpaused? What do you guys think? Higher, yeah, it could definitely lead to higher inflation because if Trump's putting a tariff, right, on goods and services, that means people have to now pay more for goods and services, and that's pretty much the definition of inflation anyway, right? Because inflation is like when the cost of living is increasing or decreasing. So yeah, no, it wouldn't. No, 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 it would not. It would definitely not be cheaper because if Trump's putting a tariff on things, that means he's charging higher taxes. So if I want to now buy an iPhone and there's a higher tariff on there, it's going to cost me more money to import these parts from China or wherever the wherever this thing's made, probably China, let's be honest, right? So now if I'm as a business have to pay more for my goods and services that I'm importing to sell to my customers, I'm not going to take that on the chin, am I? I'm going to pass that on, and now I'm going to charge higher prices, and it's the same thing if we start seeing those prices being going higher, that's a direct going to literally create inflation to go higher. But we obviously have to allow this to happen, and we have to actually see it being reflected in the inflation report. So for now, right, don't get ahead of ourselves. Right, we'll talk about obviously crypto, the bear market. We'll talk about the stocks and all that sort of stuff. In terms of earnings as well, like for different stocks, most of them are still positive. There's really nothing negative with the stock market. I mean, this week there's pretty quiet in terms of earnings. I mean, next week we've got some banking, so we could definitely see some big moves next week, especially with inflation readings coming out. You know, JP Morgan, a lot of banks, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, right, Morgan Stanley, big earnings reports coming out next week. But for now, I don't think there's going to be, well, I still think there's going to be movements this week. So let's sort of take a look at it from a technical standpoint. So if we sort of start off looking at, right, our bond yields, right? We know that the yields, especially our short-term yields, and again, what are these? Why are we looking at these? Because this is pretty much what is drives all your risk assets, right? Because, and again, what's a risk asset? You know, your cryptos, your stocks, right? Your metals. So if we're not paying attention to what the bond yields are doing, we don't know where the money's going to be flowing, right? And all trading basically is, and knowing like your economic direction is knowing where money's going to flow, right? Because ultimately, what are we, we're seeing currencies move from different assets, right? And currencies, look at the word current. What else has a current? Rivers, water. Now, why am I telling you this? Because once you understand where the money's flowing, you're going to be able to profit on that. You're going to be able to know where the market's going to be going for the next few weeks, next few months. And if we know that the current of the money is exiting these bond yields, right? Again, what are bond yields? Bond yields are like, and bonds are one of the safest investments you can make. It's basically something backed by the government. And it's like saying, if you, for example, so again, you've got like different periods. You've got like a 3 month period, a 6 month period, a 1 year period. And it goes like there's so many more. But for me, the shorter term periods are a little bit more sensitive because these correlate to interest rates. All right. Big, big key there. Right. These correlate to interest rates. So once you can chart these and apply your Wyckoff price cycle to these, you're going to see, and if we see these bond yields go down, right, we're going to start to see money flow out of safe havens, right, which is like just your world reserve currency, your US dollar, obviously your bond market. And if it's exiting this, where's it going to move into? Right? It's going to move, yeah, exactly. You already said it. It's going to move into your risk assets. So all it is just understanding where the money's flowing from one asset to another asset. Like that's pretty much it. So if we know that inflation's coming out lower, the Fed are still cutting rates, and we know that rates correlate to the bond market, and we're now seeing the bond market well, we'll come on this bit, right? What market cycle are we seeing here? All right, maybe find the 4 hour. Right, we're seeing this thing distribute, break market cycle, redistribute, redistribute, and this thing is just basically it's continuing to walk itself down. So as long as we keep seeing this thing continue lower, right? Especially the stock market, or crypto is a little bit different. We'll speak about that in a moment, right? But as long as we keep seeing this continue to sell off, that is going to support, your stock market and metals to continue to be bullish. Again, we'll touch on crypto. And again, if we look at the 6 month yield right now, it is continuing to redistribute, and like at this point in time, there's really no signs of buyers on here, right? It's just walking itself down. So obviously, I'm not going to necessarily trade this, but I still look at this to see my overall direction. Again, you look at like the 3 month yield, it's continuing to be selling off. You look at the 1 year, continuing to be selling off. Now, as you go to like the higher yield, like the 2 year, the 5 year, the 10 year, because these are such longer periods. So, for example, again, what does this actually mean? What is a bond yield? So, if you buy, for example, $100,000 worth of this bond, you can hold it for a specific period of time. So, for example, if I buy the 3 month, I get a guaranteed return on investment of 3.61%. If I buy a 30-year yield, I get a guaranteed return of 4.86%. So the longer terms are going to be less sensitive to the interest rates fluctuations because they're more longer term and it will lag more. But obviously, the shorter term bond yields, these are going to be a little bit more. The US bonds, so the bonds is like the asset, the yields is the return on investment that you get from it. So, like for example, if I am a farmer and I'm growing corn, right? If I'm growing corn, the corn will that's the thing I'm growing, and my yield is how much corn am I actually making, right? How much am I actually getting on it? So when it comes down to it, we can see all of these are continuing to sell off, but of course the ones that are a little bit more sensitive to market direction are going to be the shorter term yields, like the 3 month, the 6 month, the 1 year, the 2 year. And obviously now as you start going to like the 5 year, I mean, they still move obviously, but it's like a lot slower because it's much more of a long term. So you want to look at the bond yields. That's the one I like to look at. I mean, you can still look at bonds, but I like looking at the yields. Cool. Yeah, we'll come to the stock market. Let's take a look at dollar. Maybe this year we'll get some more currency plays. Let's take a look because I know last year was absolutely dry for currencies. In terms of the dollar, we are still looking like we are still trying to redistribute this thing down, especially with inflation that did come out a lot lower. There's really no reason for me to be bullish on this right now. So if what can we see from a lower time frame perspective? We can see we started to distribute. All right, nothing too clean. We've obviously invalidated lower time frame demand. And now let's see if we can volume coming in. All right, if this thing is going to redistribute again, because we are still in supply. If this thing is going to redistribute again, obviously we need to have an accumulation, shakeout, and obviously that breakout to the downside. So if now, right, because we've got economic reason for this thing to go lower, right? If we can see this thing on a lower time frame show signs of redistributions, right? We can look to short this down to be targeting like 95,865. So that means we'll be looking to be potentially buying EU and GU as well. Now, I'm not going to chart too much up on this because I'm not necessarily going to be executing it. But if we sort of scale down to like a more of an intra-week time frame, what are we starting to see? So we boofed, we got a little redistribution over here. They're sort of maintaining our market cycle. All right, we're in this bearish leg. We have just accumulated down here. So at this point here, there's really two scenarios that I'm going to be doing. Well, I'm not paying attention to this accumulation. Why am I not looking to buy this accumulation on dollar? What do you guys think? Why do we not want to buy this accumulation? Who's in control of this accumulation right now? Sellers, right? Exactly. How do we know that this is a sellers driven accumulation? How do we know buyers shouldn't? Well, we can always be wrong, but from like if this is if we look at 1,000 accumulations now based in this context, how do we know that most of the time, there you go, fundamentally, right? But there's no reason today for sellers to, for buyers to want to actually send this thing higher. So what this normally means is it's sort of profit taken from higher sell positions and potentially setting up for another redistribution because what's every redistribution? Accumulation, manipulation, and then a break to the downside. So I'm not really too concerned about this being an accumulation. Again, obviously, like for me, again, this being demand, I'm not really too concerned about it. It hasn't really done anything. So how I'm going to be looking to sort of play this is looking ideally for a micro up in here, right? If we can. Again, currencies are more swing positions. Second, let me get my water. Currencies are more swing trades. Again, I'm not going to scalp these. These are going to be way more swing positions. So I expect this to, not to happen today over the next few days, or maybe even the next few weeks potentially. So if we can walk our way up into there, right, we obviously can, or we just basically wait for this thing to break a new low and redistribute. If this was US indices, all right, I would be open to playing redistributions in here. But again, where this is currencies, like I have no reason to really be much of a lower time frame than this. But that's kind of how I'm looking at the dollar right now. Does anyone see any differently? Anyone see the dollar differently? And before I see 1,000 buy positions. Nah, cool. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's still a chance, right? If we just sort of zoom out again and go back to the higher time frame. Obviously, there is a small chance that we eventually could revisit like the 105 region, but where they're cutting interest rates, like I don't really see much reason for this thing to be going higher unless they start doing rates. JPY really getting ahead of the curve. Yeah, we can talk about JPY. So let's talk about JPY, right? Economically. So you're saying interest rates are up. What does that mean for us? Why is that bullish on JPY potentially? Let's talk about it because this is big. Like this is historical potential all-time lows for the Japanese yen if they keep. Well, yeah, it's pretty simple, right? If interest rates up, currency up, yeah. But from like a if we why though? Why does that mean it goes up? Why would a currency go up? Why? Because of interest rates going up. Why would people want to buy that currency? Why would you want to hold that? Why would you want to go and sell your US dollars and buy Japanese yen, for example? Yeah. So when interest rates go higher, that means that investors, all right, I know interest is haram, right? But let's get into the finance stuff, right? If when interest rates go up, right, investors think they will get a higher return on investment. Exactly. So yeah. So if they're going to get a higher return on investment, and you now looking at your money and thinking, right, I got my money here, and let's just say, just pretend you're starting at zero, right? Okay, I got my money here, I'm getting nothing. Cool, let's pretend. Where would I rather put my money? Would I rather put my money in something that's going to have diminishing returns because their interest rates are going down? Or would I rather put my money somewhere that's getting higher returns? Not a trick question. Of course, you'd want to put it where you're going to get higher returns. So if we're looking at now, here's the interesting thing about Japanese yen. They actually had negative interest rates at one point in their life, right? Negative interest rates. That's why when you look at the Japanese yen currency, this thing has been distributed and selling off for years now, right? Since, well, I mean, maybe there's even other charts on this, but on this chart here, we've been seeing it absolutely just be decimated. Now, but Kieran, even though, right, it's selling off like crazy, why do you still want to buy it? Economics. Because economics tell you if there's reasons for buyers or sellers to come in the market. And what you have to understand is every time these guys raise rates, this is what happened, right? The first time they started raising rates back here, right? Around I think it was like like 12th of yeah, around July 24, right? Price accumulated, right? And look at the volume that came in on this, right? Absolute. Oh, of course, bro. Yeah, 100% it will do the affect their economy 100%. Um, so because they was trying to stimulate the economy, that's why they had such low rates. Now we had that massive buy order came in, and again, this is where you have to think three dimensionally, right? Don't like what do I mean by three dimensionally? in my opinion, retail traders, right, even though we are technically all retail traders, but for me, like noobs, people who lose money, they think two-dimensionally. And what do we mean by two-dimensionally? It's like, how do most people trade, right? This is what I mean, this is how I used to trade, which was terrible. Maybe some of you lot still trade like this, right? Like a goddamn pattern, right? You know, you go to the market, you look for your double top, you look for your wedge, you look for your head and shoulders, right? And the point is, or like what these noobs do is they always think like the market has to look like this. So when they go to the market and see, for example, an accumulation, right? Because they're applying that two-dimensional thinking, they think, oh my God, it's an accumulation, so it has to be, I have to buy it. But no, right? If we let me give an example. If we go back here, right, to 2023, obviously economics, we needed a reason for buyers to step in. There wasn't a reason, but start asking yourself, right, what did this schematic do? Right? Go back to day three of the boot camp, right? The laws of Wyckoff. All right, maybe day four, one of them. All right, but the laws of Wyckoff, effort and result, cause and effect, supply and demand. Right? Yeah, you have an accumulation, and people might have been trying to buy out of here. But why are we not buying out of that accumulation back at that point? Well, obviously economics. But two, what did it do? It didn't do anything. It just came right back up to supply, distributed out of it and went lower. So when price is now coming back down here, how much? Why am I going to avoid this loss? Because if the buyers are that strong, why the hell can the buyers not break supply? You know, if you're stronger than me in the gym and I'm lifting heavier than you, you're not stronger than me. Period, right? Same thing here. If buyers are in control, why the hell are buyers losing to sellers? Because they're not in control, right? There was no economic narrative back then. They had negative rates. Let's now fast forward. What do we know now? They're raising rates. What did they actually raise it to? Let's see what it is now. JPY. Oh, bro, I'm so glad to be back, man. I've missed the markets. I've been itching to trade. All right, 0.75%. Holy. Right. This is, I mean, it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things when you compare it to the US, but in terms of Japan, it's insane. So the point is, when they first started raising rates, look what we did. We invalidated supply. Oh yeah, of course, everything's intentional. Yeah, 100%. Because low rates do what to the economy? Stimulate it or slow it down? They stimulate it. So when we look here, right, how interesting is it that they raise rates, boom, market fucking rallies, invalidate supply, pull back into demand, and then guess what? Rate hike again. Invalidate minus supply, accumulate, massive rally, and then there was like, oh my God, which I think they changed the geezer, I can't remember his name. Right, he wasn't talking about raising rates, he didn't want to raise rates, and the market starts selling off. How convenient is it that we come back to demand? How convenient is it that we come back to demand? And what did they just do? They just raise rates. So, could we be wrong? And could this give a fat shakeout? It can. Be my guest, right? I don't care. But if we look at history, it repeats itself, it rhymes. And if I see something happening eight times, nine times out of 10, I'm going to take that bet every single time, regardless if I lose. So now, seeing that we've come into demand, how are we looking to play this thing? For me, there's really two scenarios what I'm going to do on JPY right now. One, which is I would prefer this, right? I would prefer the bigger manipulation, right? I would prefer this being like a larger accum, preliminary support, seller's climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, up price action, one drive, two drive, weak, give me a third one, and give a larger shakeout. I would love that all day long, but we ain't gonna have this anytime soon. I'll tell you that for now, right? That's gonna probably move to next month if that is gonna happen for a play. But always be open of the higher time frame narratives, and even if you want a short term trade, don't neglect the higher time frames. Like the biggest mistake I see traders do, especially like the newer ones who might want to day trade. I mean, sure, you want to day trade, that's cool, but you can't skip a top-down analysis. Context, higher time frame is absolutely everything. So if I now know that I'm potentially, right, in phase what A, B, maybe going into phase C of a larger accumulation, am I going to be super aggressive in here on a lower time frame, guys? What do you think? No, of course not, right? I'm gonna ask quick. Right, bro, was ready at the keyboard there. So I have to be mindful of this, right? Of this being a larger accumulation. But if I go on a lower time frame, right, and I do see signs of continuations and reaccumulations, I can look for lower time frame trades because they don't always have to give a manipulation. I mean, ideally, you want to see one, of course, but they don't always have to. If the markets deem that this interest rate hike is enough and they don't need to fill any more buy orders, they won't create a manipulation. How do you know? Well, you go on a lower time frame and you watch to see if you go into a bullish market cycle. So this now is order flow. So because this is why is this order flow? Because it's not a completed larger schematic. So what does that mean? One, my mindset is less aggressive. All right, I'm not looking to hunt this to take 1,000 trades on this. And two, if I do take a trade, what do you guys think is going to happen with my risk? Do you think I'm raw dogging full risk on this, or do you think we're going to lower it a little bit? Now, that Ria's quick with it, man. You lot are quick today, bro. That New Year's motivation. But yeah, right, low risk, definitely. Now, am I going to want to pick the bottom and play accumulations? What do you guys think? Or is it safer to play continuations and play reaccumulations? Yeah, reaccum. So what have we done? We've come into demand, minor demand. Let's also see if we've got any volume in here. All right. Oh, we did get a nice bit of volume in there, actually. That is a lot of volume. Let's see. Mm, okay. Let's see. It's a lot, but I thought it'd be more. We can still get a minute. But anyway, the point is now, I'm not going to play an accum. I want to play reaccum. So we come in, built a little micro, right? We built a distro. We're seeing a shakeout with another micro. What do we want to see? This thing reaccum and walk its way up, right? And if this thing does reaccumulate, right, then I'll look for buys. Does that make sense? If not, please let me know now. Like if you're sitting there like, what the fuck, bro? Like tell me and we will go in detail and we'll make you understand it. Because remember, these calls are not for me. These calls are for you guys. And never be ashamed, never feel afraid to say if you don't understand something, because that's how you learn. That's how you get better. You know, like if you knew it all, you'd probably be the one doing the call. You know what I mean, right? So it's always good to stay learning. Even myself and even Nathan, we've been doing this almost decades now, and we're still growing and learning every single day. Would you still want to wait for the high? Good question. So are you saying this what specifically? This larger manip? Yeah. So well, this is the thing, right? This is now where economics come in. Because of this recent interest rate hike, that gives reason for buyers to be in the market, right? And if we see the lower time frame reaccumulations, they're putting more buy orders in here, right? And of course, if and they don't always have to create a manipulation, especially that we have boost minus supply, we do have some volume coming in. So if they give a reaccum of a micro, that would tell me that they don't need to sweep these lows. But But you're right. I would rather do that. You're 100%, bro. But remember, timeline here, this might take a while to build out. I mean, I'm nothing wrong with that. And you're right, bro. 100% it's better to wait for the higher time frame scenario. The biggest, and because we're wait, if you remember what we said, because of this larger schematic as a potential, one, we're not risking as much if we play anything. And two, we're being more cautious in our approach to the market because it's way more aggressive. Does that make sense? And the more aggressive you are in terms, so when I say aggressive, right, I don't mean, and when I say, so for me, let's define terms. For me, aggression doesn't mean, oh, take trades. For me, I should probably say lower probability. That's probably the better word. So for me, it's technically a lower probable scenario playing the reaccum because more scenarios can play out. Compared to if that happened and we saw big volume, yeah, I'd be full risking, swing trading, like send that to the moon. So, and again, it all comes down to degrees of like how low probable do you want to play it? And for me, I don't want to play low probable, really low probable trades. So I think for a swing trade, this would be the safest break this high because then you've got your accum, you've got your reaccum, and then you can walk it up. That's what I'm going to be waiting for because I don't really have business to try and day trade this personally. If it was US indices, yeah, be my guest, bro. I'll slap them about all day, but yeah. Did not come to the 50. So obviously we are aware that lot higher time frame, this is still be phase B, but how I'm potentially seeing it is, excuse me, is sorry, it's been a while. I'm getting excited. All right. We've seen redistro push price lower. All right. Buyers come in, one drive, two drive, three drive, tried to sell this thing down. And then what happened? Buyers said nope and smacked him out. So when I'm seeing that we've got a distro, a shake, and a break with cause and effect, with economic reason, with volume, that's why I'm willing to potentially play it. But obviously, we're still aware that it could still give the shakeout. That's why I don't want to play that, or that's why I don't want to play this accum. That's why I want to see the reaccum to give me more confidence that buyers are actually in here to walk it up. Yeah. What one specifically? You mean this one? Do you want to send me your chart? I think you can annotate actually, Rio. You might be able to draw on the screen. I think there's a pen. You should be able to. Um, let's have disable. There you go. Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay, right. So first things first. All right, it might be an accumulation, but what do we always talk about? What happens in the bathrooms, right? We have to validate it, right? So, can we validate this for an accumulation? No, exactly. And we don't want to be picking bottoms in potential phase B, you know? So, yeah, that's why. I mean, this is looking good. Like that's looking organized to me. That's looking pretty nice. I can see one drive, two drive, three drive in there. But again, context, I don't want to be that aggressive on this because more possibilities can play out. So that I do like JPY. It's definitely going to be back on the radar. Maybe this year we'll finally get some more currency plays because last year was dry for currencies. Um, what else is there? Euro and pound. We can peep them. We do want to buy these up. But what are they looking like? So it's gonna be the same thing as well, opposite as the dollar, really. So if I can see this thing right now, it's distributing out of supply. Got no reason to be super aggressive on this thing as of today. There's our news coming out. We got labor data coming out tomorrow. Maybe that gives us the catalyst to send this higher. Moves with the currencies. Yeah, man, they're pretty dry. We'll see. I mean, I'm not too focused on euro right now, I'll be honest with you. Pound. Oh, hello, Deirdre. Oh, hello there. Oh my God, pound. We're seeing some major divergence right now. Right, that was. Did anyone catch this trade? Remember, we was talking about this little demand zone. Did anyone end up catching that? I didn't. It's Christmas. I was like, nope. But let's see. I'm cautious that we could see a bigger shakeout on this. Oh, look at that volume. Look at the volume on this. All right, let's zoom out again. Let's get some context. Oh yeah, oh yeah, all day long this is going to reaccumulate in my opinion. Look at that volume. Like this volume is very high probable. When you see that in the spring, distro, shakeout, economics, could be wrong, but this is like again, if I see something line up 1,000 times, I'm going to take it. So this is looking pretty bullish. I do want to see pound eventually hit 1.37. Let's round that up. 13800, very nice. So the question is, where can I get in on this now? So first thing, I can see that we've invalidated minus supply. Yeah, bro, I'll definitely play Reacumes up. You took the words out of my mouth. So I'd either, so higher time frame, could either wait for that, right? That's the first scenario. Sweep out this, or so ping an alert on there. Oh, I missed the chance. Sweep. Or and that is a possibility with all this liquidity down below. A lot of orders came in. Damn, they're putting in bear orders during Christmas, eh? What's going on here? All right. Now, obviously, lower time frame market cycle. We could play a little micro in here if it gives something. Again, I don't think I'd be too aggressive on an Acumen here. I think I'd rather play a re-Acumen here, to be honest with you, on a lower time frame because it can still give that bigger shakeout. I think the re-Acumen would probably be the better option on this. The other question. Uh, Hey, bro, this is a very advanced call. If you're a beginner, yeah, this is very advanced. If you're a beginner, I'd probably recommend going for the boot camp first, bro, if you haven't yet. Yeah, so all you're doing is identifying a schematic. So we have a reaccumulation. We're just waiting for price to come back, retest it, and then we go on to a lower time frame to buy it in there. So, we've got a schematic, and that's pretty much all we do. Find a schematic. Okay, what schematic is it? It's a reaccumulation. All right, how do you know it's a reaccumulation? We have a distro, shakeout, break. So all we want to see price now do is retest it. And if it does retest it, we go into a lower time frame and wait for it to consolidate, manipulate, build a little trading range, and then we obviously buy it in there. We know that economics are bullish on this because we're bearish on the dollar. So we know that pound is going to be opposite of that. So we want to buy this up. So yeah, and here we can see if we can play this little reacumen here. I'd be mindful though. I'm not super aggressive. All right, putting an alert in here. We can see. Now again, with that divergence on euro, I'm going to be careful that because if euro wants to make its way down here, that could give the bigger shakeout um on the pound. So be mindful in there as well on euro. But pound's looking good, bro. Pound's kind of mitigating nicely. I mean, last year pound was doing nothing. But yeah, let's see what we get. I'm definitely gonna have eyes on pound this week, maybe next week. No, actually not this week. Maybe today. Maybe during NYSC today. I want to see. Pound has been moving. Yeah, to be fair, bro, we could see a potential entry today, or yeah, we could see a potential entry today. So are the questions? Yeah, I got you, bro. So where are we? Where is my tool? Where's the anchor text tool, bro? I feel like a noob again. Here we go. All right, so I always just save them on here, so I don't have to remember it. So number one, am I in a good headspace? So, what's going on with my life? Am I having loads of problems, or am I good? If I am, then I'm not trading. Am I feeling tired? If I'm feeling tired, I'm definitely not trading. If I'm trading for the sake of trading, maybe I'm bored. Maybe I've got nothing else to do in my life, right? Maybe trading's my only focus, then that's not good. Trading should not be your only focus. Trading is just a means to an end. Um, but yeah, making sure you're not just trading from boredom. Am I following my plan? You're not just trying to predict the market. You're going through a methodical process. You're preparing for the trade, and obviously, are you preserving capital or just jumping in the market? All right, TO. Hello, Kaiser. I think Kaiser missed his daddy whilst he was in England. Hello, buddy. Right, cool. What's going on with UK 100? Oh my goodness. UK 100 is absolutely ripping. God damn. God damn. Oh, there's nothing I can really do with this now. It's at all-time highs. So the only thing I'm really going to do with this is just walk it up until she says no. She reaccumumed. Uh, so just yeah, walk it up until she says no. I mean, this ain't a play for a while anyway. This is more of a swing. But if she comes back, gives an acumen here, I look to buy it up. But this ain't happening for a while, so I don't really want to spend too much time on it. Wait, Swissy doing trash. I have no desire to look at the Swiss. What else are we looking at? CAD, what are you doing? I'm rather be bullish on this, but like, there's not much I want to do with it. It's pretty trash. I don't like CAD. Oil. Oh, she reacted nicely out of that zone, eh? But what has she been doing since then? Like, last time I was looking at this back in September. No, this is not moving. Um, Nikki, what's she doing? She's about to reaccumulate again. I mean, this thing could crash though. This thing really could crash. I'm going to be very cautious with this. If they're raising their rates, this could crash. Yeah, this really could, but I don't want to fight against this, so I'm just going to stay away until I see it distribute. All right, we'll look at cryptos and we'll look at indices. So obviously Bitcoin, right? What do we know about Bitcoin? Right? What do we know? Let's talk facts. So, where's my markup gone? Hello? Where's my Bitcoin? No, where's my charts? There you go. All right. So, what do we know about Bitcoin? We know number one, we have just come out. Well, we know the most important thing with Bitcoin is the mining reward schedule, right? So we know Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle, right? Where every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin gets cut in half that gets rewarded. And we are basically, and around this 4 years, where every time it gets cut in half, we have a cycle where it typically goes 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, right? So we go to the chart, all right? This ain't gonna, this one's out of date now, but let's stop updating this. But if we go to the old data, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, right? And we've just had 3 years up. So what's probably going to happen next? 1 year down. And every time we print a high, like an all-time high on Bitcoin, we have a distribution um, at Q4 at the end of that 3 years. And what did we get? End of the 3 year cycle, we've printed a giant distribution up here. And we've been selling off since. So, what does American Bitcoin mean on the chart? American Bitcoin is basically like the Trump family trying to promote crypto to everyone. So, oh, on here. So, like for me, these are like narratives. So, like for example, if we go back here, right, in 2022, right, what when crypto was in a bear market, which was the bottom, right? What did we have? We had the most negative news. We had the most fear in the market. The FTX exchange collapsed. Silicon Valley banks were collapsing, right? There was fear on the streets after we crashed, what, 80, 90% from 70K down to 15. What are we seeing now? Every motherfucker, sorry for my language, but every retard talking about crypto now. The markets don't work like that. Like everyone has to lose. That's the one thing true about every financial market. It is the law of the markets. People have to lose. So when I'm at a point now where Trump and his family are talking about American Bitcoin, like I don't want to own Bitcoin at these prices. I have zero desire to, right? With American Bitcoin, when Trump and his family, like look at Trump's track record. Every coin Trump has spoken about has crashed. His coin with his wife, the Milena coin, crashed 90%. All right. Imagine it just rockets today. All right. This one, where is it? This one? This must be a different meme coin. But her Milena coin, was it this one? Where is it? Milena Trump coin. Why was this one? Was this one? I think it was this one. Was this one? One of them. Yeah. I mean, rip. Trump's coin. Well, rip. You know what I mean? Rip. We look at. I mean, oh, we actually made a bag of this coin. But do you guys remember when we bought this? We sold it. We literally sold it as soon as it released. Where is it? Yeah, this thing crashed. It just came out higher than that. It came out like $1, bro. Where is it? So the point is, right, going back to the American Bitcoin thing. Let's have a look. Where is it? I think we can actually pull it up on here now. Is it this one? Yeah. All right, okay. Died. Right. So for me, right, like these politicians are not our friends, right? So now they're talking about it, like I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. Now, again, like, is there a chance, a small chance that this could create another all-time high? There's always a possibility of being wrong. But for me, like if I look at every top in Bitcoin, right, every single top happens Q4 after a 3-year bull run. We had Q4 of a 3-year bull run and we distributed. So to me, like everyone's buying the dip, and I think like again, I can be completely wrong, man. But I think we're pretty much mirroring this exact price action here. Right? Came into demand, accumulated, had another rally. That was alt season, and then we just died. So I think we're pretty much like mirroring the same thing. If we look over here, right? Come into demand, another rally, alt season, and then dead. I could be wrong. But that's kind of how I'm looking at it at the moment, to be honest with you. Especially now, like we did, we are starting to rally back up to 100K, and this is our supply zone. So I'm going to be really watching if Bitcoin comes in here, distributes, and this thing starts redistributing. I am selling the living. Yeah, I'm taking this down to 40K. Like I could be wrong, but I'd rather for me at this point in time, I'd rather be wrong and this thing goes one more all-time high and before it crashes than be buying Bitcoin at 80K after a 3-year bull market. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. I'm not a fan of crypto when the masses are talking about it. Observe the masses do the opposite. So I do think, like again, as a trader, like we are, potentially, accumulated, boofed, maybe come up to supply, and I'm going to see if we do distribute in here, and if I do see a distribution in here, I'm taking this to hell. What can strengthen the short narrative is if we keep seeing inflation come out higher, That would really strengthen the short narrative. But for me, I'm not really a fan of buying crypto at these prices. I mean, alts, yeah, alts can start to run because now, as you see, excuse me, as you start seeing like these small pumps, right, money can easily flow into the lower cryptos as well. So I have to, have to have a look on it. I think there was a coin we spoke about a few weeks ago. It came into some demand. Yeah, Civi's racket, they're rolling at this point. She came into this little demand zone. Wait, what chart do we have it on? Is it Coinbase chart? Yeah. Came into our little demand, she accumulated, and she did shoot up. She just hit like $2. So I do want to see if we are going to keep pumping on Sui. Because we did come into, hello, Kaiser. We did come into some demand in a very nice market cycle. So I'm going to keep watching this to see if we do keep rallying on this. That's going to be very interesting. We can get another all-time high on this, like $5. That'd be nice. And obviously, if you see any reaccumulations in here, you know what to do. Keep buying it up. Right. I think it's that time. We'll look at metals, and then we're going to get into US indices. You got a chart on it, bro? You want to show me a chart? It did reaccumulate on these things. Um, let's see. We accumulated again. We've got volume in here. You Mick, you like gold, eh? What do we speak about, bro? You're not allowed to execute on this one, broski. Sorry. All right. Definitely in the distro. I'll tell you that. All right. So she can do that. I turn the monitor off. I love that. I still can't get over how tall you are, bro. This guy is absolute giant, bro. Like double the size of me, literally. But yeah, I think gold's pretty easy to play the reaccumes on this. But again, this is not a play for today. I want to see this manipulate. So I'm going to have an alert at these lows of 4, 4, 3. Let's just say 4, 4, 40. Just keep it easy. Yeah, Jevon, he towers you, bro. Towers you, mate. Makes you look like a midget. I think we got a video together, bro. I'm gonna post that soon. Watch, you'll see. This guy's massive. Oh god. Yeah, six. What are you? I think you're six. What are you? 6'7"? All right, something like that. The 6'10". I fucking know. I said 6'10". Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Imagine Mick standing next to Rio, bro. That'd be funny. All right, Silver. Silver, Silver. Silver's on one, bro. She is on one. Swept out the lows. I think now I am cautious though. I'm going to be I'm very cautious with this because we are in my TP area. All right. So I am very cautious with this. Like these are I've hit my fib extensions. I've been waiting for this since COVID. So silver's been phenomenal. But I'm just gonna be very, very cautious because again, like when silver puts its tops, like it's quick. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a long distribution. Um, was it raw spaghetti? Big boy. All right. So yeah, I don't want to be too aggressive with this, but looking like it's setting up for a reaccum distro, shakeout, potential breakout. So if we can see this thing reaccumulate up, we could potentially walk it up more. Mm, let's see, let's sort of scale in on this. So we did just crack that. So I'd even like, see, it's very aggressive in there, but I'd either, if it gave a little micro in there, it might be worth it. But I'd be cautious that we could get a bigger push down into here. See, I'll ping an alert in this box 7676930. See if we can get something in there. But I'm going to be cautious that it can come into here, especially if gold is going to give that deeper shakeout. That could send silver a bit lower. Mhm. All right. Any other questions on gold or silver? Or are we ready to get into indices? What? Cool. All right. So, what did we say last time we spoke? We said we want to see all-time highs on here. And the prophecy fulfilled. The prophecy fulfilled. How did we know this was going to go all-time highs? Economics. Literally on that. Well, it was the 18th, I think inflation came out, wasn't it? Last month? Was it 18th? Yeah. Yeah, literally. Inflation come out lower. Oh my God. I remember. I feel sorry for people who are short in this, bro. Like, this is why you have to check economics. You have to check economics, right? You have to. You have to. You have to. You have to. Because look, Booth, distro. Economics said, you're distro, man. This is why economics is so important because the price can literally lie to you, bro. Like this, the market wants to manipulate you. The market wants to take your money, so it's going to print fake price action. So I think we had a beautiful Nasdaq. Was it Nasdaq we took the buy on? I have to open my account. It was Nasdaq. Where was it? Yeah, right. Nasdaq gave us that beautiful buy, bro. And this thing ran. This thing ran, right? And this is why we have to pay attention to economics, bro. Because again, like some people are looking at this and going, but Kieran, we're in supply. What supply? What reason do you have for sellers to come in the market? There is no reason for sellers. No reason, bro. When you see inflation come out lower, zero reason for sellers. So what happened? Buyers came in and said, "Get out of here, man," and just smacked him. So forget What you mean, bro? What you mean? Get hey, someone spank him, bro. Someone smack him in the neck. This guy. Yeah. Bro, I missed it, bro. 2 weeks? Like, oh my God, I was so bored, bro. Oh my God. Oh, anyway, so what have we done now? What economics telling us to go, up or down? I don't know, man. There might be, bro. But Kieran, it was a breaker structure. Kieran, it was a redistribution. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. You motherfucker. The volume wasn't the best. But, oh, hello. We are in demand at the moment. So I think we're going to get a trade today. Yes. Well, I can't say we're going to get a trade today. How do we know if we're going to get a trade today? How do we know? What do we need to look for? The blue box, right? What we need. Plan. What? Oh, yeah, the plan exactly, right? So we definitely accumulated in here. This is looking juicy as a little type four. Um, I'm going to look in here. Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. On ES, we got volume in there. Oh, get out of here! All right, back to all-time highs, please. Um, back to all-time highs. I mean, we'll take a look, bro. Nas in demand. Let's see if we can. Let's see what's going on a lower time frame in there. So we got a little Frankfurt sweep. Right. What do we want to see? All right. What do we want to see today if we're buying this? What do you want to see at the open? Where do you want the price to go at the open? Up or down if we're buying today? Yeah, oh god, everyone's spamming the chat now. We want to see the sweep lower, volume in, price rally, and then we wait for the reaccum and we buy it. Easy as fucking that, bro. All right, easy as that. Same thing every day. So let's see. Wait, is there a micro down there? Mm-hmm. Mm. That, bro, that might even be worth a limit. If I have volume in here, I'm gonna scream. So yes. Oh, interesting. Right, ES is leading. Don't want that. I want Naz. Oh, holy. Oh my God. What happened here? Fucking hell. What happened there, bro? Um, right. Well, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Again, always the chance, right? We always know. Oh my goodness. There's always a chance that we can always get a deeper shakeout, right? Like that's just always a possibility, right? So we'll see that, right? But we'll go in on the lower time frame cycles, right? And obviously, if we do micro in here, I mean, this thing is leading. Uh, hold on. If we do get a micro in there, I'm all over that. But yeah, Dow. I have no desire to trade Dow. It's leading like crazy. I'm on the EFs on Nas today. I think Nasdaq. Yeah, Nasdaq is lagging nicely. Yeah, that's pretty easy, bro. I think I'm gonna trade Nas today. I'm gonna look in this micro. Like, if I'll tell you now, if it comes in, if it micros in there again, I'm all over that. I'm all over that. If it reaccums in there, all over that. I'm buying the heck out of this thing, and I'm holding this to all-time highs. Yeah, I think Nas looks pretty clean. So Nas is really easy today. Just wait for the open. We got the open in an hour and 25 minutes. I want to see price for me to take a trade today. I want to see price sell off at the open. I want volume to come in. I want it to push price up. I want to see it give accums, reaccums, and any reaccumulate I see, I'm just going to put a limit on it and send it to the high. Pretty easy as that. Yeah, Ibs, I think yeah, you got the same one. That doesn't look bad though, bro. That really doesn't look bad. What's the R and R? Eh, okay. 1 to 7. I'm gonna do that. Now that doesn't look bad. That does not look bad at all. But Kieran, it didn't break supply. What did we just say? And if you look here, like this is you have to look at correlation. So the ES actually broke, right? So if we line it up, right, the Fridays. So look, for everyone, look at this. Look, Friday, 2nd of January, 2:50 UK time. Friday, 2nd of Jan, 2:50. 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 We've already broken it. So this is nice as well. So I mean, yes, these look good today, bro. I think we're gonna have a fucking banging year this year, bro. Yeah, I mean, pretty easy. How come on your chart it has not broken? You can tell I missed these calls, bro. Guys, why let's see, who knows? I know, but why is his high not broken yet? Potentially, he's got the D, bro. I think you got the D in you. Your chart's delayed, bro. I got the big D, mate. Um, sorry, but basically, bro. Unfortunately, TradingView, they make you pay for extra data. Um, see, I don't have the D. I'm D-less, right? Yeah, that £8 a month membership, bro. They're raking it in. So yeah, because if you're looking at the CME futures, they make you pay for it. Yeah. Let's forget the D's right now, bro. We're getting a bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll answer your question, bro. Your English, Kieran. Your chart is delayed. See, mine's got the dot. The hospital. Oh, God. Stop it. You lot, bro. Dirty minded, bro. Haram. Right, yeah. Not days. What high? Maybe on the wrong data feed. What one? What one? Let me see the chart again. Must be on the wrong chart. Oh, let me see. Yeah, 70. What was it again? No, you're not. Oh, wait, maybe it's either that or you sure you're on ES, bro? Mine's ES1. I could be wrong here. I mean, does anyone else? Let me ask someone else. If you're on ES1, because maybe I'm missing something here. For me, it should say ES1. I don't know why it says S&P 500 E-mini. The only other thing I could see is this. Yeah, here. Come down here. The adjust for contract changes, bro. Down here, you see? That's the only other thing I can think of. BA Badger. Press this one, and it'll fix it. The badge. The badger. Yeah, that should work. The badge should work if you press that. There we go. You got it? Yeah, we finally got it. Third time's a charm. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty easy, man. I'm definitely want to buy these today. I'll tell you that. Yeah. I mean, there. The only thing, right? I think who mentioned it? I think it was Tony, maybe. Right. But I didn't take this. It's just a back test. But there is a small chance this thing could give a deeper pullback, but we just reaccumulated actually, so we should be good on this. Um, yeah. I mean, obviously, if Dow gives this correction, that's what we want. We want session open to give the sell off on ES and NQ before we get that rally back to the upside. So yeah, I want to see these sell off today and then buy them up. The only one I have really desire to trade is ES or NQ, and I'm probably going to be trading NQ out of all of them, unless intra-session, like let's say after the open, if after the open we start seeing, for example, NAS start leading on a lower time frame and ES starts lagging, then yeah, I'll trade the lagger. But for now, pre-market NQ is lagging, so that's probably the one I want to trade. Cool. Got Mr. Harry Lee on the call, eh? Mr. $45,000 a month. Killing it, bro. What are we seeing here, Tony, bro? Oh, you cheeky devil, eh? You put the volume in there? Oh, you dirty dog. You dirty dog. Bro, I forgot to do that. Yeah, shout out Harry, man. Like, Harry is absolutely killing it, bro. We got to do an interview, bro. God damn. Let's see what that volume is. Yeah, yes, what is that from? Yeah, a lot of your Friday's orders are chilling down here. A lot of volume down there. Yeah, there's a lot of demand down here. Maybe sweep yesterday's Asia low as well. Should sweep Monday's low. Yeah, I pretty like this. Um, have I sent NQ? No, I didn't send NQ. But I really like this little micro down here. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that. Um, all right. Cool. I think that's pretty much it. Have I missed anything? Has anyone got any questions? Does anyone want anything explained? Any other questions? If not, then I think we've got Nathan's call tomorrow at. I'll drop the times in the chat. I think it's Nathan. What time's your call tomorrow, bro? 2 p.m. UK time, right? Yeah. So I got you, bro. Yeah. So we will. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll have Nathan's call tomorrow at 2 p.m. UK time, and then from there you'll have me on Thursday, same time as today, and then hopefully we've had a very nice profitable week, or we're all gonna hit stop loss and cry, one or the other. You guys know how we do it, man. We're going to be absolutely fine. Just remember, don't don't get too premature. This is a distribution. Like this is a distribution. Please listen. If it does that, I do not want to see someone buying out of the Frankfurt sweep because you're going to get swept, most likely, and then do that. So yeah, like be very careful. Buys climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, up frost, spring, and then we get the reaccumulate. Yeah. Any other questions on this? Yeah, so for the London event, we're bringing on a new educator now. Obviously, we've got Nathan, and we're gonna do another boot camp. So we're gonna obviously go through like the day trader model. I'll do that on Zoom for you lot. But obviously now we got Nathan's doing his calls on Sundays and Wednesdays, and obviously we're doing me on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So we're gonna trial that out for a few weeks, and obviously if everyone likes it, then we're gonna keep it. Yes, sir. And then we do plan on doing another event soon, probably. There's a couple of things we got to sort out first, but within the next like 3 to 4 months, end of Q1, we're going to do another London event. And then we're going to do a Thailand event halfway through the year as well. Yeah. So I'll drop the schedules in the chat, bro. And we'll run it from there. Cool. Yeah. Bro, Thailand will be a Colombia event. Oh, that will be a scalping event to say the least. But yeah, cool. All right. If there's no more questions, then we're gonna call it a day. And then, yeah, we'll see the vibes. So yeah, I think main focus this week, just to recap. Obviously, NQ looks beautiful. ES looks nice as well. Bitcoin. I mean, look, if you want to trade Bitcoin, you can buy the reaccums up to supply. You can, but I don't see much now. Um, I didn't even check ETH. How rude of me. Yeah, I still want to see ETH kind of crack its way up. That'd be nice. Um, where are we? Gold. I think gold's in the distro potentially. Sweep those Asia lows and then buy it up. But obviously, these are like less priority. My main priority today is going to be NQ. Um, Silver, we can see if she wants to give something today. I'm not too concerned about this today. Pound actually should upgrade her. Pound could give something today or tomorrow. What makes the most sense for me is today Pound to sort of creep its way down before the news tomorrow, before we get a rocket ship. What time is news tomorrow? Just before NYSC and just into the open. So I think tomorrow will be a bit of a nice day as well. Probably more tomorrow for Pound. Like if you look, like the average daily range on Pound isn't. I mean, that was pathetic. That was Christmas, but like it's not that big, you know. I mean, that was pretty big. So maybe sort of one day down, and then like get that Wednesday position. Um, yeah, and then I think JPY I like. It's just I want to see this reaccum. I don't want to be too early to the party on this one. Pounds average daily range is random. Yeah, pound can be quite nice, but I mean, all currencies are going to be less volatile than US indices. You know, like these things just rocket every day, bro. At 2:30, you know, pretty much, literally every day, same time, boom, 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 fake out one way, real move the other, every day, pretty much, apart from Mondays. Well, Monday, I mean, Mondays was a little bit, but I don't know Mondays. Did they change the times? Did they change did the clocks go back again? They might have. Uh, So NYSE is 9:30 a.m. What is the time in New York? No, it's in an hour, bro. Yeah. So it New York Stock Exchange is always 9:30 a.m. EST, which is New York time, every day. So whatever that is in UK time. So now in the UK it is what is it? It's 1:18 in the UK. And New York Stock Exchange will open in an hour and 20 minutes, roughly. It used to be, bro. It used to be. They changed the clocks a few months ago, actually. And I think when does the clocks change again? Does anyone know? When does the okay, clocks change again? March. Oh, thank God. I can't wait. Oh, New York is 9:30 p.m. for me. But I can't wait till it goes to 8:30 again. But it does change the daylight savings. Cool. All right, guys, I'll drop the recording in the chat. And obviously, I'll see you lot on Nathan's call tomorrow. And then on my call on Thursday. Obviously, the schedule will be dropped. Nathan will probably drop his later or tomorrow. And yeah, man, let's see. I'm definitely gonna be on the charts today. I finished my Christmas partying. Right, I'm ready to lock it in and make some fucking money. Let's run it up. And yeah, anyone needs me, let me know. I'll be active in the groups, and I will see you lot tomorrow, and I'll see you lot on Thursday. Take care. I'll see you all from the top. Wait, I haven't said that in a long time. I'll see you all at the top from the top because you know that bottom is too crowded, man. Take care. Sheesh.